Hello and welcome to the ILEA Integral Creative Writers Support Pod. This is our first meeting. I am Beth Bolhofer and I am the secretary for ILEA. And I'm going to talk about what ILEA is. ILEA is the Integral Leadership in Action. Integral Leadership in Action. And it actually started in 2004. And it became a 501(c) shortly thereafter. And we've run several events, and we're just trying to get back, starting again, getting going. It's slow, but we're moving forward. We were a sponsor of the recent event called Future Human. We did a lot of the background pieces that are required for that. ILEA has a mission of creating community of leaders in action. There's a lot of other integral communities in the world that are wonderful, and I'm part of a lot of them that are just about the big picture ideas, making new models and like lots of big ideas. It's very exciting, and I think all of us must like that stuff because that's why we come to these things. But ILEA is different because we're actually trying to help people execute, putting the ideas into real life, implement, put the ideas into their teams, and we have a lot of different ways that we do that. ILEA is specifically here to support people who are using the integral ideas to teach, to train, to lead in action versus inaction, which I know is like it's too close together, but there's a space between the two words, in action. And we're really about we spaces, bringing leaders together to share ideas versus one guru is just preaching the message and explaining all the details on how everything works. We're more about bringing people together and learning from each other. And specifically, support pods are these new things that we came up with a year ago. We've been doing it for about a year and a half now, a year and a few months. These are specifically around birds of a feather. You can think of it as groups of people in action, doing the things in the world, bringing great things to the planet, serving our communities. And we're here to support each other with projects. Like I'm doing a project, I need support. This one that we're kicking off today is for writers, specifically creative writers. If you're building something creatively, writingly, we're here to support you. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be doing a kickoff meeting. The format is, again, this we space because we don't really like the whole someone's going to preach to us about how everything should be. We're really just not into that so much. So we're going to go around the horn and each person is going to just do a quick intro, including what you have done in the past as far as writing, maybe something about your past with Integral. We don't know, and I say collective we because we don't all know each other. Maybe you're a famous writer. Maybe you've been published a million, you've got a top best-selling under a pseudonym, like Stephen King is your pseudonym. I don't know. So just tell us what's your background? We can't assume anything. And then maybe where you are, but this is just like a 1 to 2 minute, maybe 3 minute little overview. And tell us if you're a professional writer or you're just wanting to be a writer or you love reading. I don't know. Tell us about that. Maybe you're an editor. And then after that, Karen's going to go over a little vision statement of where we're going with this thing. And Karen and I can help each other if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, we're going to do another share. Hey, Jaden, I can see the top of your eyebrows. They're just beautiful. Ah, hello. Welcome. I'm just doing an overview of what we're up to today. After the little vision by Karen, we're going to go into a section called What Am I Bringing? What am I receiving? What do I want to receive? What am I bringing? And this could be anything from professional services to a positive attitude, smile, thumbs ups. I don't know what you guys are bringing, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to now turn it over. Let's start with Karen. Actually, I'll go first. I'll go first. I'll just demonstrate. And again, just a 1 to 2 minute intro. Not my mom and dad met each other. They were in love. Not that far back. I'm Vet Goldhofer, and I started writing plays as a child, and I've written many novels. Only one of them has been self-published. All the rest are very bad, but I do a lot of web work. So if anyone needs web stuff, I like that. I've been in tech. I've been in tech for 23 years, and now I'm a full-time yoga teacher. And that's enough about me. All right, let's go to Karen.
Yeah, I've been reading Ken Wilber for 40 years. So my personal cognitive operating system is thoroughly Wilberian. I have had many right angle turns in my life, but with several of them, I have worked very hard to transform academic writing into publishable writing. I have some novels in me that want to come out into the world. I have worked very hard over a period of 30 years off and on, polishing my writing skills, but I hate promoting myself. I just really don't like the technical side, the back, who I need somebody to help me, that stuff. But I love stories. I love good stories. And I'll say more about that when we get to the vision part. But I do have at this point a lot of writing, editing, organizational skills, and some skirmishes with the top grade publishing company. And at this point, what I am really interested in is forming groups that support each other, whatever our creative vision is. If we're happy with what we're doing now and we have something to offer, if we want to find ways, support groups so that people can help us fill in the pieces that we're missing. So I'm bringing some real passion to this and a certain amount of experience in some areas. Like Bet's been helping me with my back office, my web page, and so on. We've already started doing what we're trying to model here in these support pods. And Bet and I've had a whale of a good time working with her. And so that's my model. If it's fun, I'm in. So that's enough for now.
You want to pass it to someone, Karen?
I'll pass it to Roshana because she's the next in the circle on my screen.
Yeah, well, my mom and dad met, no. But my mom was an editor when I knew her. By the time I met her, I was the last of 5 kids. But she was an editor, and so she would edit some of my papers at school and edit like a letter to an employer and get me a raise. She just had a way with words, which really inspired me. And so I worked for at least 3 newspapers, daily newspapers, and I became an editor because I knew how powerful editing is. And at these newspapers, I would usually write a weekly column. So I've written weekly columns for years. And then I kind of, gave it up for a while. And I had like 85 articles up on medium.com. And I stopped about a year ago, and I just published another one this morning because I'm so upset about it. It has always bothered me that we only know of like 2 or maybe 3 presidential candidates when there's literally hundreds of candidates who have signed up. And there are a few actually serious people who would like to do great things with this country, and that's always bothered me that they can get almost no press, nobody knows who they are. So that's what was eating at me, and I decided to write an article about that and put it up there. So what I have is some editing skills, although I'm not, I think I'm getting old. I think I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but I'm still an editor at heart. So I've got that, and graphics and AI art. I'm big into that. Like book covers. I've made a couple of book covers and things like that. So,
do you want to hand it to someone else, Roshana?
Yeah.
Who's next? Welcome, Tom.
I would say Jane.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. What am I bringing and what am I receiving after
Oh, okay.
This is just a quick
Oh, okay.
intro of your background. All right,
Gotcha.
Jane.
Thanks.
Yes, great to be with you all. I have always loved to write, and I look back at my life and it's just like this constant love that's been with me throughout. And I've written a book called You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening. And now I'm working on another book called Survival of the Kindest. And
Oh,
I love to write about making the world a better place and how we can come together and make that happen. And it's getting more urgent to me. I'm like you, Roshana. I hope I said your name right, where
mhm.
I'm getting this urge, like it's time to be bringing out what's right with the world and helping people to come together in a way that we can actually make a shift. And I'm really big on paradigm shifts and cultural worldview evolution and all that stuff. But writing about it in a creative way. I mean, I don't want it to be just dry writing. So that's my big thing. And recently I've taken a course to become a book coach. And so I'm now working with nonfiction writers who are writing about making the world a better place in some way. That's what I'm trained to do, is to work with those people in order to help them organize their writing in such a way that they can, the writing flows and they can get it out there. So this is just right down my alley, what you're talking about. And although I'm not trained to work with fiction writers, it's the topic that calls me. It's about making the world a better place. So however that shows up, that's what I'm about.
Jane, thank you. Do you want to hand it to the next person?
Yes.
Welcome, Gary.
Is your name Jendon? Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Jendon. Yes.
Jendon. All right, Jendon.
Yeah. Back in the 1980s, I was bored with my job, so I wrote an autobiographical novel about my time at college, which wasn't a great time. But anyway, so I did send that to a few small publishers and got some maybe halfway positive rejection letters. But anyways, I am, heavily in integral theory, and I've been an economist for 50 years. So I tried to apply integral to economics, so I came up with a book that I self-published. Oh, let me, this will probably, oh, geez.
Jaden, we're going to be going into more detail about what you're bringing and what you're hoping to receive in the second part of the meeting. I just wanted to let you know that. We're just doing the quick intro.
Okay, well, can you hear me?
Much
Can you hear
better.
me?
Yeah.
Much better, yes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
maybe you can repeat what we're doing in this quick go round, because I think
Yeah,
few
yeah.
of the people
So
here came in later.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so this is just a quick intro about your writing experience, maybe your background in integral, and that's maybe where you are in the world. And then we're going to be doing the second part of the roundtable where we share what we're bringing and what we would like to receive. So it's just like a super 1 minute quick update on. Does that make sense, Jaden? Jendon?
Okay, I was going too long.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
we didn't specify, but basically you did what we were asking you to do. So I think it's time to hand it on to the next.
Yeah. Do you want to pick another
Okay.
person, Jendon?
Sure.
Okay.
I guess Lisa.
Okay, hi. So as I mentioned before, I'm in the Monterey Carmel area of California. I've written all kinds of things over the years, plays, a novel called The One That Is Both, and my most recent book, which is kind of why I'm here. This is a book that just got published called Embracing Paradox, Evolving Language, and the subtitle is Expressing the Unity and Complexity of Integral Consciousness. So that book I just gave birth to, and now I've got to raise the darn thing.
Do you want to pick the next person, Lisa?
Sure.
Congratulations.
How about Tom?
All right.
Tom,
Just a quick
Hubby.
intro, Tom.
I'm down in Carlsbad. I did one book
Ooh.
and it was painful. I'm done.
Tom, can you pick the next person, which is Gary?
Gary.
Gary, just a quick intro, and then we're going to have more time to talk about what we're bringing in and what we want to receive.
Sure. I've been studying Integral for about 8 years, and I've been writing a Substack about Integral for about a year.
1.5 sentences.
Ooh.
Excellent. All right. Thank you all so much. I feel honored to be amongst all of you today. Let's go over to Karen to talk about the vision for this group.
Okay, let me set my 5-minute timer, because when I get the wind under my sails, I can go on and on. I know this about myself. So my 5-minute pitch, my vision for this group, why I'm investing my energy into it with enthusiasm, is, first of all, I love working with Bet. This is, I think, what Bet and I have been having fun with over the last some months is kind of a model for where I think this could go. My background in this is the year I turned 15, 1967, 3 things happened that profoundly shaped my life. The Summer of Love happened. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings was published. But for the purpose today, the very first episode of series of Star Wars came onto TV. And yeah, okay, Wagon Train to the Stars, it's fun. But I don't think we give it enough credit for what it did for my generation. I was born into the Cold War. When I was in grade school, we had duck and cover drills. Most of my contemporaries just assumed of course, we're not going to live until we're 30 because nuclear annihilation is going to destroy the planet. I mean, that was the doom scenario then. We've got different doom scenarios now, but I see a certain similarity, a certain pattern repetition here. What Star Trek, the first version of Star Trek, did was give us, as popular entertainment, it gave us a collective vision of a collective future that was positive, that in 150 years or so, we're all living, humanity has survived, the planet has survived, we're all getting along well, we're so prosperous, we're exploring the stars. That helped psychologically lift us through a very difficult period. Well, we're in another period of great turbulent transition into an incoming integral world order, but old structures are breaking down. There are a lot of doom scenarios. I love to write. I love good stories, and I am so tired of dystopian fiction about our future. I have decided that that is one of the unhealthy aspects of green. That's my personal thing. But I would like to see some beautiful and gripping stories about a collective positive future. And we are all here. I think everybody here today is here because we are interested in integral and somewhat informed or becoming informed. And we see potential for a very positive future. And so actually, I'd like to quote from Lisa's book, the one she just showed us that just got published. The very opening paragraph goes, "This book has big dreams and wants you to dream. not just the familiar nighttime adventures of your soul, but to dream all the time adventures with what is possible. This book also hopes to inspire you to imagine, as that is where the future begins. So let's imagine. Let's put together groups of people who are imagining positive integral futures. And with this group here, we can start, it can grow. Let's help each other imagine stories, and they don't need to be fiction. You know, a number of us here are not writing fiction. We call this creative because I wanted to be sure this is not academic writing, this is not technical writing, this is not administrative. It's writing that can go out into the world, escaping our lovely little integral ghettos, and reach the larger world through popular entertainment, arts, culture. Let's help each other imagine stories of what is possible in our imagined integral future. Let's help each other shape these stories. Let's help each other practically bring them forth into the world. So far, the arts and entertainments, in my experience, are underrepresented in our integral circles. Tom, I am still, and Bet, I'm still glowing from that Future Human Conference. It's still just, wow. I mean, this opens so many possibilities to move forward into a positive, beautiful future. But the arts and entertainments were not really represented at the conference. I mean, you can't do everything all in one place in one venue. But now with ILEA and ICON and these organizational structures in place, we can start to grow little, ecologies. My vision is of an ecology of support pods. This is what Bet calls them, where we find each other, help each other, create networks and networks of networks, where, say, if one of us has great skill in editing, writing, in constructive critique, in running writers' workshops, which is what I have a lot of experience in, while other people have experience in creating websites, like Bet's been helping me with mine, or experience in the world of publications, graphics. One of us here has experience in graphics. We can support each other with the pieces that lie outside our core competence so that each one of us doesn't have to do it all alone. When we're supporting each other, we can take this into larger and larger and larger circles, and some of it will start escaping our little ghettos and by osmosis start reaching out into the larger culture and influencing the larger culture. That is my vision for now. But we start with where we are right now and then take a next step. I'm going to be watching and listening to the recording and making notes, and Bet and I, with who's doing what, who said what, who, and we'll have a month before our next meeting. We envision this as being a regular monthly meeting where we can help connect individuals with other individuals who can help with specific projects, and there could be group projects in the future. And this doesn't always need to stay limited to writing. It could be dance, performance arts, anything creative, popular entertainment. But writing is what I know, where I have experience. So, and writing is something Bet has experience. So this is where we're starting. So coming back down from the larger vision to the practicalities, which is where Bet excels in my experience. We've got a month until our next meeting. Bet and I will harvest what we all put into the pot here today and then set some structure for our next meeting. That's how I envision it going. Now, when I'm starting a big project like this, the question I ask myself is, how does this garden want to grow? What wants to grow in this garden? And then I know what kind of fertilizer, how much to water, not too much, not too little, what grows in the sunshine, what grows in the shade, what kind of soil is it? How does this garden want to grow? This little garden that we're starting today. That's what we're here to find out. And so, Bet, the mistress of practicalities, I hand the baton back over to you.
Karen, that was amazing. Excellent job. I'm quite impressed. I really am. It was really inspirational. Okay, excellent. Now you guys know. I'm going to do one thing on very practical logistics, and then we're going to go around the table, and I want each of you to share, again, just like 1 minute to a minute and a half each What are you bringing and what do you want to receive? So consider that as I go over some very boring logistics. We are going to be meeting on the second Mondays of every month. And that would be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. It looks like everyone's in Pacific, as far as I can tell.
Eastern.
Ah, oh, I didn't know that you, okay. And we would love to have a lot of people here. So please feel free to post. And also, I would love everyone to put links in the chat of the books that you've written, Amazon links or wherever you're selling it, and also Substack links. I would love for us to read each other's work and subscribe and do whatever it is that we can to support each other in that way. All right. And with that very practical piece, let's go around. We're going to go backwards. This is a memory game. Let's start with Gary. Gary, what are you bringing and what do you want to receive from this in 1 to 2 minutes?
Well, I don't know if this is what you intended in relationship to what I'm bringing, but I've been writing. I realized it's actually been about a year and 3 months that I've been writing the Substack, and probably have 50 newsletters that I've done, and the thing that I'm attempting to do is write for the novice, helping people. Even though I kind of travel in educated circles, I am absolutely amazed at the number of people that don't know anything about Integral. And so I'm trying to kind of talk at a very introductory level about it. And so I've been playing around with that in a lot of different ways in the different newsletters that I've written over the last year. So I guess that's what I bring is a lot of examples of writing and examples of trying to take a little tiny bit of the theory and bring it to life. The other, and what do I want? I don't have a very responsive readership right now, so I'd like to have responses. I'd like feedback. I'd like corrections on my understanding of Integral if I need to be corrected. And I wouldn't mind some feedback about writing, even though I'm not striving to be a great writer. I do enjoy every once in a while writing a really good sentence.
Yeah.
And I keep waiting for somebody to say to me, boy, you really got it. You really nailed it with that sentence. I don't think I've written any great paragraphs yet, but anyway, that's where I feel like I am in developing my writing skills.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Tom, we're going to go around. This is a memory game for me. What are you bringing and what do you want to receive?
I think being able to, write effectively, and I'm not sure I'm bringing this, that really conveys Integral is important. I'm reading Wilbur's Finding Radical Wholeness. The good thing about it is he finally wrote for the layman. And I don't know how good of a job he's doing. I'm about 100 pages into it, but it's a lot easier than a theory of everything.
Yeah.
Because it covers all the main issues. So it's kind of interesting with doing this group when he wrote this book that's going to be a lot more accessible for people starting out in Integral. So that's what I hope to get out of this is novel ideas of how we all, not just for me, but how we can write things that have an integral basis that are going to disseminate it more to the community. I'm done.
Excellent. All right, this is where the memory comes in. Lisa.
Okay, so I am on the boards of both the Gebser Society and the Monterey Friends of Jung, and we offer opportunities for people to present. You can talk about your book, you can talk about anything integral. We tend to, even at the Friends of Jung, we tend to focus on Great Gebser more.
Hmm.
The upcoming Gebser conference in October is on the dance of the divine masculine and feminine. So we're still looking for presenters. I think it is only in person this year, but go to the website gebser.org to double check. And if you want to propose an idea for the Monterey Friends of Jung, I'll put the emails in the chat, but it's jung.monterey@gmail.com. So as for what I am looking for support for, the way I'm trying to market this book in a less marketing kind of way is to, one, present at conferences and talk to podcasters and people like that. So my big ask is to if anybody has connections with podcasters like John Vervaeke or Daniel Schmachtenberger or Jonathan Rowson at Perspectiva or Nora Bateson or Nate Hagens, people like that. I'm looking for like a personal connection. I could send a cold call them, but I don't really want to do that. The other thing I'm looking for are reviews on Amazon or elsewhere, Goodreads, even Substack. My publisher will give you a copy of the book if you agree to write a review. So I'll put a link to the publisher. It's untimely.books.com. And the last thing is recommendations for conferences to speak at, because I find that I like connecting with people at conferences. So.
Okay.
Wow, Lisa, a lot there. Please put links into the chat so that we can, I tried to find something and I don't know if I found the right thing, but yeah, if you can put links. I'm gonna jump to Jane, although I think I'm going out of order. But Jane, I know that you said that you were super tired, so let's just get to your energy first before it fails us.
Yeah, that's wise. Although this, I got to tell you, I'm feeling so jazzed. I think I'm gonna make it all the way. So thank you for that. What I bring is, as I mentioned, my book coaching skills, and I'm not certified as of yet. I will be this fall, but I'm working with people in the meantime as part of my practicum, and so I'd be happy to work with anyone who's wanting to just look at how they can organize their work in such a way that it's coherent. And I've done quite a bit of work with some people already and have found that they are able to organize their writing. So happy to stretch my horizons in that way with anyone who would like to go through that with me. What I'm looking for, my husband and I teach a course called Integral Ministry Practice. We're both retired Unity ministers, and we're looking at how New Thought spirituality can change and grow and evolve. And all of our students are very keen on learning integral methods of doing ministry. And so Ken actually he's one of our luminaries who comes to one of the terms that we have, and they read his book, Theory of Everything. So Tom, would you suggest, I've ordered his book, Radical Wholeness. When I get home, it's waiting for me. Would you think that would be a good one to have them read rather than the other? Okay, because I'm hoping that's the case, yeah. So, some of the things that you're talking about that you've been writing about interest me to look at how I might include some of that in our course. So Jen, and you mentioned you were doing something on economics. I'm really looking at how we can do some integral prosperity economics, that kind of stuff for the future. And I'm looking at how, so any of your stuff, Lisa, also yours, Gary, your Substack, everything that you're doing, I'm going, oh, I want to check that out. And maybe that's something I could use in our course. So I would love to, have you offer things that we can be giving to our students. And that's really exciting. I would also love your support in my writing of, survival of the kindest. And it's all about evolutionary change and how we're on the cusp of something great, and it may appear that everything's crumbling because, well, it is, but there's something emerging, and how can we midwife that? So would love help, any guidance or ideas or support with that. It's kind of a nebulous ask, but that's really what I would love.
Jane, thank you. Jendon, you're up, and let's see how your sound is.
Okay, how is it?
It's much better. Thank you so much for finding that, because I could barely hear you. All right, Jendon.
Yes, yeah, I've had issues with that before. So, the headphones seem to work if I don't press the wrong button. But, but anyways, what I bring is I have self-published a book, so I know the problems that you can run into with that. You have to learn something about publishing in order to self-publish. So I know some things about that. So, and mostly, I guess what I'm looking for more is marketing in that, but certainly, help. I have a couple other books in mind that I want to write. So certainly, I'm not a great writer, I'm adequate, so I used editors and that. So, and I don't even like to write when I think about it. But these ideas are out there in my head, so I guess better do them. So, yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jendon. Aunt Roshana, you're up.
Okay. Yeah, I can bring some editing, some graphics, possibly AI art if you're interested in giving me prompts and see if I can find what you're looking for. Graphics, did I say that? Website stuff I can do, like I'm sort of a jack of all trades in some ways. And what I'm looking for, I guess, would be just feedback. I don't know that I'm going to continue to write. I took like a year off because I was just tired of it. But I got a nudge from the universe last week, and then another nudge that got me here. And it just feels like the universe is nudging me to be here. And I think you folks are fascinating. I want to hang out with you. So that's what you can do for me. Let me hang out. And maybe I'll write something. I do have a book. I have a book on Amazon. It's really old and it's a little sort of children's book. But I do have this book that it feels like the universe is nudging at me to restart it. I started it a couple years ago, and maybe that's what's supposed to emerge.
And Karen, did I'm trying to, I think you're next and then me, if I my
Oh,
memory, I think.
okay. Yeah. Well, um, one thing I can do is I'm a veteran of many writers' workshops, some classes, writers' conferences, and so on over the decades off and on. Uh, One thing I can do is say help facilitate an ongoing group where we take turn reading each other's material and giving feedback. Very few of us are born knowing how to give constructive feedback that helps, that's not so painful. I have a lot of experience with this. I could write an essay that writers' workshops, the good, the bad, the ugly. So if there are a few of us or more than a few who actively want feedback on things we are writing or have written, then we can kind of meet, read each other's and just say, how did this land? How did this land on a reader? That's one practical thing I can offer. Some editing, I'm not a professional, I've never been paid for my editing, but I do have a lot of experience with editing and learning how to write beautiful. Gary, you do write beautiful sentences, by the way. Let's see. My contacts in the world of professional publishing are about 5 years out of date, but if we ever grow to the point where we want to start reaching out toward like mainstream publishers, I have some people I could contact to give us leads on who we could hire. We're getting into money then. But one of the advantages of having ILEA as the sponsor of this pod is that we have a corporate shell, which means if we ever grow to that point, we could start handling money. We have the corporate shell that will support us with that. That's in the distant future if we ever go there. Some experience with page layout, how you arrange things on a page so that the eye goes where you want the eye to go and the information immediately conveys. So people don't have to scramble to figure out what's what. What I could really use help with, well, first of all, someone to run my back office for me, and Bet's been magnificent for that. Help with practicalities of IT. I'm behind the curve for what I want to be doing. Practicalities of how to create online content. I have a lot of ideas, but to actually get something together to put it up on YouTube or something, I'm clueless. So help with creating online content. Eventually down the road, maybe help with branding, marketing, navigating the world of publications. I could really use help with that. But I am an ace at reading other people's stuff and trying to give them helpful, just kind of tell them things that will help. If my question is, if I had written this, what would I want people to be telling me, assuming I want to improve? So that's it in a nutshell.
Oh,
Oh,
excellent.
by the way, Jane, on my website, which I've posted, I have 4 short essays. My work is fictional, but they deal precisely with some of the metaphors you were using, like as a birth of the next incoming era and so on, in case you're interested. Over and out.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Karen and I have been having a lot of fun in the Gourmet Ghetto talking about all this stuff. It's really fun. She's got a lot of good restaurants around her. All right. What am I bringing? Let's see, 3 things. Self-publishing. I have been self-publishing since 1999, since I built my Matrix website. I used to work at Instagram. I'm not proud of it. I have had a YouTube channel since 2013. I have so many videos. One of my videos has 64,000 hits.
My God.
I know, it's
Wow.
pretty good. I am an expert on social media, Instagram, TikTok. Should not have TikTok on your phone. It's digital fentanyl. I had a podcast for 2 years on software architecture. I know a lot about podcasting. I've done a lot of different podcasts in my life, and yeah, I love it, and I'm trying to start another one actually. I have a problem, people. I have a real problem. I've self-published 8 books on Kindle, and one of the books is called How to Write, Self-Publish, and Market Your Book. And blogging. I've had blogs since the word blog was invented. Technical topics. That's the first thing, self-publishing. The second thing is technical topics such as building websites, or I can build you a website. I'm so into AI. I spend half my week studying AI. I am like really ridiculously into it. It's unhealthy. Video editing, I've spent a lot of time playing with Adobe. I have all the best tools because I have very high standards. I've been a Photoshop nerd since Photoshop got invented. And creative tools. I'm also an improviser, as some of you played games with me at Future Human. I have a book called Improvise Your Novel, which is full of improvisational techniques to help you create characters and scenes and set up stages and wake up the brain. And I also am a yoga teacher, so I'm really into keeping the brain full of fresh blood and ideas and brainstorming techniques, which I play with and build all the time. So that's what I'm bringing: self-publishing, technical tools, creative tools. What do I need? I need community. I am around a lot of people who talk a lot and don't do a lot, and I am tired of that. I have a friend, he's always talking about his novel that he never writes, and I'm just like, I'm done with it. I want to be around people who are doing the things, getting it done. That's why I like ILEA, Integral Leadership in Action. That's what I want to be around. So inspiration, also looking for topics. What are people hearing people need? I want to know what the world needs. All right, that was me. And now we're going to talk about next steps. We're going to have a meeting on August. I have to look at my calendar. The 2nd. Does anyone have the calendar faster than me? The 2nd. Okay.
Yeah.
The 12th.
August,
The 12th.
August 12th.
August 12th at 4 p.m. We are going to have our next meeting, and I will be driving and I will not be joining. So we need somebody to run. We need someone to step up and show their leadership in action. And I will give them the Zoom information. I have the Zoom registration. Everything's on the website. You guys obviously found it because you're all here. Congratulations. No, Tom didn't find it. But Tom, you know what? I made a picture change. I made a graphics change and actually stopped it from working. So that was a fun discovery. Anyways, Tom, it's not your fault. Anyways, does anybody want to step up and run the Zoom next week, a month from now? And I'm going to propose a topic. And I'll train whoever it is on how to click the buttons. If someone knows how to use Zoom, that would be even better. But please record it. I would love to hear about what's going on with Substack. Like, how do you use Substack? What are you finding? Because it's a medium that I haven't used yet. And I follow like 100 people on Substack. Again, I have an unhealthy problem. So someone needs to help me get over my Substack addiction. No, but that could be a topic. If there's other topics, maybe someone could do an overview of publishing companies nowadays. Like, why did you pick Timeless Publishing, right, Lisa? You could lead a little round table of current publishing. What are the different experiences? Jendon has done some self-publishing. Jane, you have a publisher you're thinking about. What is the mindset? What are you thinking about? What are the questions people should be thinking about as they're finding publishers? Some kind of little round table. If those are some ideas, I will watch the recording, I promise. Who wants to step up just to start the meeting, click the record button, and sort of just make sure people don't go on for 45 minutes? Anybody interested?
So I'll just say I would be. I'm not sure yet if that date. I'm going to be part of a summit that week, and I haven't got the times yet. So
Okay.
I'm going to find that out, and if it can work, I'd be happy to do
Okay.
it. And I could actually host it on my own Zoom if that would be better.
Yeah.
Because we have this, it's recurring. So the whole system
Okay.
is pretty, and I'll send the reminder out. I'm leaving on Monday at 9 a.m. so I can send some stuff out before I leave. I'm driving to Anaheim that day.
Okay, well, I would tentatively say yes, but
Okay.
I need to check this
Yeah.
date.
When do
unless
you think
somebody
you'll
else-
know? When do you think
Oh.
you'll know?
Yeah, I'll email her tomorrow to find out the exact times.
Perfect. I
But
have
if
your
there's someone
email.
else who's wanting to do it, it's perfectly fine by me, but I'll
Yeah.
just say,
Anybody else feel like they know enough about Zoom to click the button, and I'll teach you how to do it also.
I'll be a backup.
All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
I can be a backup as well. I've hosted my local integral group on Zoom for quite a few years, but I'm not
You're good enough.
I'm not great at Zoom actually. So
Okay. Jane, do you feel pretty good with Zoom? Okay,
yeah,
great.
I'm quite, but I'm
All right,
kind
so
of confused. Is it like, do you have to give me, the
I'll set it up. I'll set it up
co-hosting?
and I'll email you about exactly how it works. We've done it before when I've traveled
Okay.
where our other ILEA members have started it, and I'll show you how to do it. So everyone go to the same link in 1 month and somebody is going to be here. So what do you guys think about the topic? Do you like this idea of like, how do you think about self-publishing? Is that like a broad enough topic that each person can kind of explain what are they thinking about? Gary, you can talk about why you picked Substack. Roshana, you're also using Substack. What are the pros and cons? What are some downsides? Also, Kindle publishing. Has anyone tried that lately? Does it sound like a good enough topic that you guys
Yeah.
can spend an hour doing that?
Oh,
So the
yeah.
format will be just like today, where you guys can just, if everyone knows each other, you don't have to spend as much time doing a little check-in in the beginning, but then just jump into it and maybe like 2 to 5 minutes per person to just go through the topic. And then you guys can raise hands. And if someone has questions, are you guys going to be okay? All right, good. All right.
You're gonna be fine.
Congratulations. We're on our way with our second support pod. Thank you all so much. And we'll see you next month.
All right.
Hey.